folks, it's your man JQ right here on Dufftown Radio. It is Geeked Out. We are here. It's another Wednesday. That's Megan.
Hi, guys.
That's Chandler.
Yo.
And Free is still
Incognito.
out of town. He's out of town right now. He's in California. So we will be awaiting his return next week. So
But we see all his posts online.
I know.
He's been posting a lot on our page.
He's been posting a lot on our page. So guys, if you guys want to follow us, Geeked Out LV on Instagram and Las Vegas Geeked Out on Facebook. Boom, 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 boom.
And you can find Free that way.
Yeah, you can find Free that way. You can just
Start following, otherwise he'll make me hurt this guy.
For what?
Are you going back to the wrestling show? Or is it going to be Quagan?
It's one of those two.
It might be Quaggin.
Oh God, here we go.
You want Quaggin back, don't you? You miss her, don't you?
That's like psycho scary.
You should work in a haunted house.
What's that?
You should work in a haunted house. That would be cool.
What, working in a haunted
Yeah.
house?
He would be
I would not want to be responsible for the number of ambulances that would be showing up to haul people out of there.
Because you'd scare him so bad.
You know what? I actually got kicked out of a...
I can give you goosebumps. Don't shake your head no.
So I got kicked out of back in high school. I got kicked out of a haunted house thing because some guy jumped out and scared me, and I swung. Like, hit him.
And you got kicked out?
Question is, did you hit him?
Yeah, I hit him.
So
Okay.
there's a haunted house here in Vegas I went to this past Halloween, and they electrocute you.
What?
Like the people come up and touch you, and they have things on their hands, and
So
they
you're like,
electrocute you. And it actually hurts. And then they lead you into like a dead-end hallway, and it's got like fancy wallpaper with flowers, and they hide more things that electrocute you on the wall. So the girl backs
Did
you
you
up
sign
against the
something
wall.
before you walk in?
Well, yeah, but to say they can touch you. But I didn't. It hurts.
Well, the fact is that I don't care if I sign something and they touch me and it causes pain.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in pain themselves, and
Yeah.
I'll sit there and say, you said you could touch me. You didn't say anything about creating pain.
But yeah, it
Pain
hurts.
begets pain, sucker.
And
Yeah.
you're not anticipating it because they back you up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was crazy. I've been to
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
haunted houses around the country, and that was one of the craziest ones.
And that's here in town.
Yeah,
Wow, that's nuts.
yeah.
I would, yeah.
Okay, well, Halloween's a ways away. So.
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
ways
Halloween's
away.
every day for me.
Oh, well, that's true. If you're a cosplayer, Halloween is every day. Anyways, we got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about a lot of movie stuff because a lot of movies have just dropped.
It's summertime, baby.
It's summertime.
Yeah.
Summertime. And on top of that, it is the Ghostbusters 35th anniversary. 35th
Wow. Who are you gonna call?
Who sang the original? Who sang the theme song?
Was it Ray Parker?
Ray Parker Jr.
Ray
Yes.
Parker. Who are you gonna call?
He was not known for any other song besides that.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
This song is legit.
I know, super legit. All right. Anyway, so Godzilla dropped. Godzilla versus King Kong, was it, or Godzilla?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw like one or two trailers, and I was like, I haven't seen it yet, but I probably will eventually.
While the technology obviously has improved over when I first saw Godzilla back in the '60s, which was a man in a suit.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was like that all the way up to
I'm
the 80s.
I'm so I don't know. I'm so done with Godzilla at this point. It's like, come on.
It's like how much of it can they stuff down your throat? Right?
Yeah.
So they filmed Godzilla in Atlanta, so I've had to be quiet, and I still do, because a lot of my friends worked on it.
But the movie itself, it's set in San Francisco, isn't it? Or was it the last when they did the last movie? It was
I don't know about that, but I do know they filmed most of it in Atlanta, and a lot of my friends worked on it.
You know what made me laugh about the last Godzilla movie? So Godzilla's walking through the desert, and like he just had to go straight through Las Vegas, and I'm like, yeah, all this desert surrounding, and you could just.
He wanted to go after the people.
he was drawn to the light like a moth.
That's
Oh
true.
well, that's true. Good point.
Maybe Mothra was waiting for him,
No.
calling his name.
So with this movie, it's a big deal to the fans of Godzilla because
Yeah.
one of the original creators of Godzilla passed away a few months ago.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
at
wow,
the end
I
of this
didn't know that.
movie, they do a big tribute to him.
I did not know that.
And there was something with the toes for Godzilla, so don't get mad at me if I don't get this right. But in Hawaii, where they filmed one of the last ones, it was like he's supposed to have either 3 or 4 toes,
Something
and
like
they did it wrong in the last one. So the creators were mad.
So they fixed it.
So they fixed it, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many toes did they do it with?
I think he has
5 or 6?
He's supposed to have 3 or 4, and they did. It was the opposite, whichever one it was. They either did 3 or 4 wrong.
Gotcha. I think it's
Yeah.
3. I think you're supposed to have 3, but they probably put 4.
4, yeah. So that was. It's funny that one toe can make such a big difference. Because they were really,
purists.
really upset about it.
The Godzilla purists.
Well, it wasn't so much the fans as it was the creators. Because their big thing is that they're so old now, so very old,
Yeah.
that they've wanted the legacy to be exactly the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, because the first one came out in the late 50s? Late 50s, early 60s?
Yeah, it was a long
Can you imagine if you're a kid late 50s and then, today you're watching, you're like, no, my Godzilla has 3 toes.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was a big deal because of the footprints. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
I can
because he
imagine.
leaves footprints.
Cool. So, yeah, Godzilla's out, and I haven't heard any, solid numbers yet, so I'm not picturing it being, crazy blockbuster or anything like that. But
They
just a
spent a
fun, just
long
a fun
time.
movie that people have. probably gone and watched.
1954.
That was close.
1954.
So it is out.
So it is out, yeah.
When did it come out? Thursday?
I think, yeah, probably last Thursday.
So some of my friends played, the main lab technicians in it. So they were there, and then some of them were in hazmat suits.
Oh, wow.
And I told them it was like E.T. 'Cause they wear hazmat suits.
Wear hazmat suits and walking through the little paper tunnels and
yeah.
stuff.
Like that's going to do
I
anything.
know, right?
That's going to keep the radiation in.
Yep.
Yeah, see, the one I remember was the 1977 version with Raymond Burr, where he plays the reporter.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
forgot
Raymond
about
Burr
that.
plays the reporter in the 77 movie.
I remember
But
that.
Godzilla's a classic because it was like the first of its time. But besides King Kong, nobody
Yeah.
had anything like that with the big monsters. So they kind of
Kaiju.
created that whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, there was one actor who was actually in both versions, the 1954 version and the 1977 version, and that is Akihiko Hirato.
Interesting.
He was in both versions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
For
So
continuity.
Yeah.
yeah, he was. It's like, wow. Okay. Yeah. He died at the age of 56, which means
Oh, that's
he was in his late 40s in the 77 version.
Oh,
which,
gotcha.
which means he was
So he died in the 80s?
he died in 84.
Wow.
Died in 84.
Interesting.
So
I was young, though, 56.
So he missed the toe fiasco.
I know, you missed the great toe fiasco of 2019.
so
Anyways, moving right along. X-Men Dark Phoenix drops this week.
yes,
And I have...
they had the premiere Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
needless to say, all the stars came out. I saw a picture of, I'm suddenly drawing a blank as to who plays Jean Grey, the actor.
Oh, what's her name from Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones, yes.
Emilia Clarke?
No,
Huh?
no,
Is
the
that
other
right?
one. What's her name?
God, I'm suddenly drawing a blank. This
Anyways, the redhead.
okay. Anyway, I saw a picture of
Okay.
her while she was on the red carpet, and it was weird because the dress she was wearing, number one, it didn't show her knees, but she literally looked like a stick figure. It was weird.
We'll get a picture of that. We'll post
It
it here
was
so you guys.
weird. Yes, I'll have to find that one
Yeah.
for you so you can post it. But it was just, oh man, it was. But there's so far, I've heard mixed things about it. Mostly people are saying it did not end the X-Men series on a high note.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying they were actually a little let down by it.
I mean, I think they're. I'm not one to to jump on the bandwagon when it comes to all that stuff. But I think part of it is influenced by the fact that people know that there's going to be an X-Men thing, or X-Men are going to show up in the MCU eventually, right? So I don't know. I just think
Jennifer Lawrence is in it. She's from Kentucky.
J-Law,
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Again, like I think people are already anticipating X-Men showing up in the MCU, so I think they're expecting bells and
Well,
whistles.
I think what was chattered about is the fact that this was the end of the Fox era of the X-Men universe. And basically Marvel will reboot the whole series. So you think about it, for the most part, they're probably going to be looking to recast all the X-Men characters.
Yeah.
And this brings up an interesting point, because there's been a lot of hubbub the last couple of weeks in reference to the casting of the new Batman.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited about that.
Huh?
I love Robert Pattinson.
Okay. Now, I was reading, and one of the decisions that went into why they chose him is because he has not been in any of the Marvel movies yet.
Yeah.
What a way to.
And, no, it was actually quoted. It was actually quoted that that was part of the influence for choosing him, because they did not want to get anyone who has been in any way associated with any of the Marvel movies,
Well, he
which
has
brings
that-
up an interesting point.
He has that Batman look, though.
Oh,
He
yeah,
does now.
I don't have an issue with him as playing Batman.
And
I mean,
I
people
just
are
thought it was
freaking out.
interesting showing the competition level
Yeah.
between Warner Brothers
Yeah.
and Disney Marvel.
Well, a lot of them sign contracts not just for the movie, but also for memorabilia. So if they're going to make toys of him, they don't want Marvel to be selling toys of him too. But what a lot of people are pissed off about is he was obviously the lead in Twilight. And a lot of
How many years ago was that?
women
Wait a
are
minute,
huge
they're pissed off about
fans
what?
that he was the lead in Twilight. So women are huge. Twilight's huge. It still is.
Yeah.
So women love those movies, but men that love superheroes were upset because they made the vampire skin in that movie diamonds. So they said that was stupid and girly or whatever. So that's why people are mad. But people never saw all the other movies he did. He's really into
All the
art house
independent
movies.
stuff he did, yeah.
Yeah, he's huge into art house movies. So like, if people would sit down and watch that stuff, they'd be like, "Wow, he can really do that." Like the dark Batman.
Yeah.
I think part of it also is that, one of the articles I was reading was talking about how the writer-director of the new Batman movie has a vision of where he wants to go with it. And that the vision is basically he's taking Batman, or actually more specifically Bruce Wayne, back to the time when Bruce is coming into his detective skills, abilities
Yeah,
that
and we've
he's
never
learning.
seen that really. We saw
Yeah,
it a little bit
and
with
that's my
Christian
point.
Bale.
That's my point. Is it's not going to be a movie that's going to show the genesis
Yeah.
of Bruce Wayne.
Gotham.
When you had him fall into the well and surrounded by the bats for a whole bit, or him being trained by the League of Assassins. It's going to actually concentrate on how he becomes the master detective, as they would refer to him as he is, before he becomes the super crime-fighting superhero.
So it's almost like a Batman Year One, really.
To a certain degree, yes.
Yeah,
And-
because we get to see what he went through that time, and what he went through with Alfred too.
Yeah.
Because we never saw any of that.
Well, yeah, we don't see. I mean, let's face it. We know from the Batman lore that his parents are killed when he's a young child,
We
which
did
means
see
who
that.
raised him? Alfred.
We did see that briefly though, because Lauren Cohan which is ironic, Lauren Cohan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan played the parents in one of the movies.
Oh yeah.
And now they're both on Walking Dead playing opposites.
Oh no, you know what that was actually in the beginning of.
The Dark Knight, I think, right?
No, Watchmen.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
Watchmen.
ironic. So we did see that in one movie, but it wasn't, I guess, Batman.
But what I'm
It was
saying
really
though
just
is
a
we never
quick-
saw the relationship
No.
young Bruce Wayne
Or how they got.
growing up under the guidance of Alfred.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. People had a problem with Heath Ledger playing the Joker even before they saw it. So you know what? Like,
and look at what they say now. They say he was one of the best Jokers
one of the
there
best.
was.
Like you can't top that.
People had a problem with Ben Affleck being the new Batman, and when the movie came out, he killed it. It was more just like the plot that wasn't great because there was a lot of action but no storyline.
Mm-hmm. So back to the whole thing with Robert. Part of it was the director had two actors in mind.
Yeah.
One was Robert. The other was I forget the actor's name, but I believe he plays the character Beast in the X-Men. Holt.
But I think I saw the pictures of them both, and obviously I think Robert looks more like Batman with the whole.
And he bulked up too.
Stuff.
He bulked up too since he.
Yeah.
Because like he was super skinny in Twilight.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, but back to what started this whole thing was the fact of talking about DC and Marvel and being comfortable with actors.
They haven't been in.
And with X-Men now getting, expecting X-Men to reboot all the new actors that are going to be cast as these X-Men characters. I mean, how many X-Men characters are there?
And I'm going to say it has a lot more to do with the merch because they make a lot on the movies, but some movies make more on merch than they do on the movies. But I don't think there's any way possible that they can recast Wolverine. That's just not going to work.
You've heard the rumors, haven't you?
I know.
I've seen one, but I know that. Okay, so the one that I seen was Keanu for Wolverine.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
But I think what's more realistic is that with the Eternals movie coming out, he's actually casting for that. So.
No, there was actually another one, and I posted it on my Facebook page.
Oh, what's his name? That played Eddie Brock in Venom. What's his name?
Yeah, I know what you're
You're
saying.
doing the Spider-Man.
I know. I'm like doing the Spider-Man hands.
That's like free with the Iron Man hand.
Magneto.
Was it Magneto?
Yeah.
I thought it was Iron Man.
That's Magneto. That's
because the thing right here.
No, that's his favorite character.
Oh, I messed up for you.
Tom Hardy. There you go. I heard Tom Hardy was trying to cast for Wolverine.
Tom wouldn't be half bad either.
I don't doubt his skills as being a good Wolverine. I think he'd be a great Wolverine.
Basically, my comment about Keanu is, I think he's too old. He is too old.
I can't see
Keanu was like the patron saint of the movie business, though. You know what he's been doing with his money and what he's been through?
Oh, yeah.
People love him. They are like, you're a god.
Yeah.
Because he's just a really good person.
The thing is, I think the guys at Marvel and Disney,
Anything
they're
he
looking
does,
long
does
term,
well.
though. They're looking
Oh,
long
I know,
term.
but he's
And there is no
everything.
When you look at and the whole situation with Chris Evans, I think illustrates it quite well.
Well, yeah, but
Or
now
Robert
Chris,
Downey
now
Jr.
Chris
illustrates
is
it
going
quite well.
off on people online left and right because he's not tied into it anymore. It's pretty funny.
All right, so I'm looking up.
He's finally allowed to give his opinion about things. And so people are like, yeah, Captain America. Because he's posted his opinion on Twitter and stuff.
Well, did you also hear about
Yeah.
the firing of Mark Ruffalo?
No.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay. So, Mark was on one of the late night shows just before, I think it was like a couple nights before Avenger Endgame came out.
Yeah.
And he let a bunch of stuff slip.
Yeah.
And he, it might have been, actually I take that back, it might have been, I think it was just, that's right, it was just before they announced the official name of the movie is what it was. It was just before they announced the official name, and he was on one of the late night Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, or Greg, I don't know. Anyway, he let slip Avenger Endgame, and the directors were pissed off. They're going, what are you doing? And he's kind of like, oh well, what's the big deal? And Ruffalo's been known for having a big mouth.
Yeah.
He's been known for having a big mouth.
Notorious.
And so apparently at one point on Twitter, the directors, the two brothers, the Russo brothers, on Twitter said, Mark, you're fired.
Oh, they're just joking though.
Well, maybe, because Mark fired back at them, so to speak, with some comment. This was after the movie had now already come out.
Yeah.
And the Russo brothers came back and said, fine, but you're still fired.
No,
this is
they
in the
were
Twitter,
just joking.
you know.
They wouldn't do
I
something
think
like
they would
that
be a little
publicly.
bit more professional than that.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah,
jokes.
but I just,
It's jokes.
but I do, you know, what it comes down to is I think they realize, I think that Marvel and Disney realizes that with the end games happening, you are going to have some recasting of stuff and actually phasing out of characters.
Yeah, I want to know what they're going to do with Chris Hemsworth, because he said he was done, but now he's on the next Guardian, obviously.
I don't know if he's really done though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's really.
I think
done.
the only ones that we were really seriously, we knew that they were done was
Captain America.
Chris Evans and
Chris
Robert.
Evans and Robert Downey. That's it.
Now, speaking of Robert,
Mm-hmm.
which this actually gets into one of the subjects that we had on our list, and that is that there is a petition that has been started online that's been signed by 60,000 people
To bring back.
to bring back Iron Man. Bring back Robert Downey Jr. and Iron
They
Man.
could do it in the comics, but they can't do it in real life.
And the reason for, one of the reasons that was cited for this was, but Iron Man has inspired me as a person, blah, blah, you know, and I'm just kind of like, it's a movie, folks, come on,
know.
Yeah,
really?
but these are people's lives.
Here's what here's. I feel like nowadays, if something doesn't go their way, they'll just fire out a petition to do something, and it's like, hey, come on, guys, relax.
Yeah,
Like,
like
this guy
they
has a
were
life,
trying
man.
to ruin Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
They
like
started a petition saying for them to reshoot the last season.
how many? Like I've been on this earth for way too many years, and like if something didn't go my way in the entertainment business, I didn't freaking cry about it.
Oh, well.
Like oh freaking well, like relax. Ugh.
Maybe they'll bring him back in a flashback scene, though. You know.
He'll probably do it.
Well, that could work. That could work.
He'll
A
do it,
flashback
yeah.
scene
He'll
I can
probably
see
do it,
happening.
yeah. But to bring him back full time for another, like, how many other movies? It's,
Not-
oh, God. I'm sure he's already tired of it, right? Like, I'm sure he loves the character. I'm sure he loves his time on Iron Man and everything surrounding Iron Man. But I think,
He was
I think
in
he's
Vegas
done.
I think he's
yesterday,
done.
and I missed
He's
him.
just, huh?
He was in Vegas yesterday,
was he?
and I missed it. Yeah, because I saw it on his Instagram when I was coming back.
Robert was here in Vegas?
Yeah, he was
Oh.
doing some speech.
Well, you know, Hugh Jackman is supposed to be here the 13th or 14th or 15th of July for his show. Which, by the way, you know, it's funny, you talk about things popping up on the internet, and I had on my Facebook page, I don't know if you guys follow it or not, but there's, I don't know why, I just love this saying, it was social media has too many of you comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the mouth for it.
No repercussions at all.
It's amazing.
No repercussions
Yeah,
at all.
it's amazing how brave people will get behind a keyboard, but you take away that keyboard and you put a person in front of them, and next thing you know, they're a totally different person. Oh no, I never said that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we got to move along.
Yeah.
So,
Get me on a rant.
last thing before we move along, all you guys with the petitions, slow down, guys. Slow down. It works with some stuff, but man, if you don't get what you want in the entertainment field, nut up and just move along.
If you're talking real life, example being if someone's on death row or something,
Yeah, something like that.
you know,
Like-
someone's life is truly impacted, someone loses their job because of something, then yes, I see public sentiment getting involved. But this whole public sentiment about how, oh, bring back this character, bring back that character, move on.
Yeah. Anyways, last thing, real quick. Do you guys remember Punky Brewster?
I do.
Punky Brewster is coming back.
Good God.
Punky Brewster's coming back. So the story is Soleil Moon Frye is reprising her role as Punky. She is now a single mom with 3 kids, and she finds
Why does that not surprise me?
another young child in the same fashion as Punky was, at the beginning of the Punky Brewster TV show.
You know, it's funny how much stuff is now coming back around.
Yeah, because we used to watch when we were younger.
What's that?
We used to watch it when we were younger.
Yeah, but part of the thing that worries me, though, is I'm starting to wonder if Hollywood has forgotten how to be original.
Yeah.
Well, people have been saying that for years.
Well, it's not just Hollywood. There's other stuff too, like music. Music is the same way too.
Yeah.
You know, I just think, I mean, I think it's great that they're bringing stuff back like this. Like I don't know if you caught it, but they did a line for line remake of All in the Family and the Jeffersons on CBS not too long ago, probably a couple weeks ago.
Really? No, I did not.
Yeah, they recast it. It was great. It was actually great because it was shot in a like when the show started, they were like shot in front of a live studio audience. Well, they actually brought that whole thing back.
So they recreated it exactly the way it was,
Yeah.
and not we're gonna take what took place 30, 40 years ago, and we're gonna put our spin on
Yeah,
it.
no, it was literally set in the 70s. The clothing was all correct, everything. You know, so it was pretty cool. Like you can actually.
Who played Archie?
Archie was Woody Harrelson.
Really?
Woody Harrelson.
Oh my God! I wish I had seen that. I didn't know about it.
It was okay. So him as Archie was okay, but I think
Who played Edith?
Edith was Marissa Tomei. She did a great Edith.
Okay.
She did a great Edith, but like with
Archie.
yeah.
I can see that.
with Woody as Archie, I didn't get the New York vibe that Archie gave out.
Okay.
Carol O'Connor. I didn't get the because Woody's what? He's from the South, isn't he?
He's what?
Is he from the South? Where's Woody?
I don't know where he.
I got more of like a Southerner doing a New York thing. You know what I mean? That's what I got. But so they had that Jamie Foxx as George Jefferson, Wanda Sykes as Louise Jefferson. Who else was in there? I don't remember the two that played Meathead and.
I know. Now I got that. Now I have that song. Moving on up, bringing in my head.
I know.
Those shows were a little before my time.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm an 80s baby.
but
I've seen reruns of them.
yeah. Oh yeah, because it was in syndication for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it still is in syndication.
Yeah.
The only person that reprised their role, and this was as far as the casting goes, they didn't tell anybody. So they thought it was another. They thought it was. So they did a remake of oh God, what's it called? One Day at a Time. You know that show.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember One Day at a Time? No. Okay.
Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah. So there's a remake on Netflix of that show, and for the casting for Florence, you know, the maid for the Jeffersons.
Okay.
They thought they said it was one of the cast members from One Day at a Time. Anyways, so in the pilot for the Jeffersons, knock on the door, they open the door, and then Florence walks in. So the casting is everybody thought that it was somebody else. They brought back
The original.
the original Florence. She walked in, and then they cut to Jamie Foxx, and his face was just like, this is amazing, right? So, but you got to catch it. If you guys have CBS on demand, it's on there. If not, you can find it.
I have to watch it on my iPad.
Yeah, you guys can do it. Anyways, Soleil Moon Frye's coming back. Punky Brewster's coming back. I think it's coming next year. So. Cool. Anything else, guys, before we move right along? No?
I can go on.
I was going to say that I was going to go see Men in Black this weekend.
Is that opening this weekend?
I think so. They've been doing all the
Trailers.
premieres all over the world. Yeah,
That looks good.
I know.
That looks good.
I'm excited.
By the way, I did go see John Wick.
All right, what'd you think?
See, you being a Keanu hater over there, and you went to
Oh,
see
no.
it.
I'm not a Keanu hater. No, don't get me wrong. I actually like
I
Keanu
know,
Reeves a
I
lot.
know.
I really do.
I don't know how
I
anybody
just
could hate
don't
Keanu
see him
Reeves.
as Wolverine. If he was 20 years younger, I would be all over it. I'd say absolutely yes. But like I said, he's just too old for the role.
All right,
Period.
so what do you think of the movie?
I was actually disappointed.
You and I are probably in the same boat.
I was disappointed.
There's a lot of people that just love the movie. They're like, John Wick was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, no.
I was kind of like, this is getting old.
Here's my one single problem with the movie. I don't know how stupid this is going to sound, right? So, you got assassins going after John Wick. I mean, we all kind of know what the story is by now. Even if you haven't watched it, you kind of pieced it together through the trailers. Anyways, so assassins are going after John Wick in public places, and they're literally killing people in public places, right? Not one Jane Doe or John Doe or policeman or anything else reacted at all. Like there's a scene. There's a scene.
I know what you mean.
There's a scene in the train station, and then 3 ninjas.
Yes.
Ninjas walk up and just slice the throats of these other assassins in Union Station, and they drop to the ground. And there's just people walking by.
I know. Sharon and I kind of looked at each other and we just started laughing. And we're like, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's supposed to be like a video game mentality.
No, it's just
they just messed up.
Well, like if you've seen the previous movies, they would get into gunfights and all that in public places, and people would just scatter, right?
Yeah. In other words, people weren't. They didn't have the crowds reacting naturally.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just weird. Like you see 6 people, 7 including John Wick, trying to kill each other in a train station, and nobody reacts.
It's like if anything, you'd see people like running like hell to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Whether there was gunfire or knife fight, I'm sorry, but if I'm walking through a train station, and especially if I have Sharon with me, and we're walking through a train station, and suddenly we see that, you're going to see me turning around and going the other direction and looking for cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking for cover first, then I'm going to be looking for a weapon.
I know.
Huh? What'd you say?
She said somebody didn't know how to handle their extras. Oh, how about this though? So you're on a bridge. Okay, well, I mean, let me take that back. You're outside and you hear gunfire, right? Somebody's gonna get on the phone
and call 911.
And call 911, right?
Yeah.
I think if they actually did had the natural reaction, I think it would have added a layer of
realism.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
So imagine this: you have John Wick getting chased by assassins, and then on top of that, you have the New York City Police Department after them too. You imagine that?
Yeah.
It would be a bigger deal, I think.
Maybe it was some kind of deep underlying thing about shootings in America.
Well, here's the other thing I was thinking about too. In the very first movie, John has his house gets blown up, dog's dead, whatever, and the cops come and they're like, "Hey, John, you working again?" They already knew that what he was up to, and I could probably see that with
I could see that with the neighborhood cop.
Yeah.
In other words, the beat cop who his beat happens to be John's neighbor, where his house is at. So yeah, because a beat cop is going to know everything about who lives where, what their natural habits are, and the whole bit. If there's a guy that happens to live in that house there, he's going to know what he does for a living. That's part of what a beat cop is going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to know everything. So I know what you're talking about. When at one point there, and this was, if I remember correctly, because I saw on TV they showed number 1, number 2, and there's a scene where the guys come into John's house, and John's like bam, 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 takes him out, and officer comes.
Yeah.
You working again, John? Okay. Have a good day. If you need anything, give us a call.
So.
And it's.
But yeah,
because what are they going to say? I mean, they know the guy's a master assassin.
They know. What are you going to do? Try to arrest him?
Yeah.
You know what we're going to do?
What?
We're going to start a petition.
Let's refill
Go
John Wick
for
3.
it. I ain't signing it.
They need somebody better to handle their extras.
Yeah.
But there might really have been some underlying weird reason that they did that.
I think we might even find out in the next one because there's
the message about shootings in America. People move on. Don't react,
I just think it was sloppy. That's all.
Yeah.
I think the principle is just sloppy.
Where was it filmed?
New York.
Oh.
I was just
Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
That's probably why, because when you're filming a movie like that, you're allowed to get permits for a certain area, but if people walk through, you can't stop them, especially at a public transit. So the people that were reacting,
they could section off a section of Grand Central
Station. So
Station.
I filmed MacGyver, right, in downtown Atlanta, and they had hired people to be extras, and we were supposed to react and stuff, but people that were walking by, we weren't allowed to stop them. It's like the weird about how your permit is. So that might have been the case where they had a lot of regular people.
No, in this case, because the scene he's talking about, literally these people are clear in frame.
Yeah, like
they're
next to
within
him.
10 feet of these assassins taking someone out. So it's not a case where they're not going to sit there and allow John Q. Public to go wandering through.
No, but they
into
do
frame.
that though. I'm telling you, there's in a lot of public spaces they can't stop people. Maybe not getting that close to the actor.
But that's what I'm talking about. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying about the public access. But still, when it comes to filming, there are going to be areas of containment that you are allowed to contain those areas for the purposes of filming.
So they just did a bad job.
Yeah, in my opinion, they just did. They were just very sloppy about it.
Yeah.
So,
People seem to forget that stuff.
producers, if you're watching, director, make note. You know where to find me. Come talk to me.
You need a new extras wrangler.
Right there.
Perfect. All right. When we get back, guys, our top 3 topics of the day. Stick around. We're back, folks.
I didn't know what happened.
And then this is our top 3 topics of the day.
Geeked Out Top 3 Topics of the Day.
All right. Topic number 1. What's your favorite Ghostbusters movie?
If Dr. Venkman then is not here,
Yeah, we know that, Johnny.
so why are you came?
Oh, the original, baby.
You originally like the
Yeah.
first one?
The original. The original.
Nobody likes the second. What was the second one? Was that the ooze one? I'm thinking Teenage Mutant.
I mean, I like the original. When we talk about the original, I don't mean that girl movie that came out. I'm talking about the real original movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything.
First one.
So my friends worked on Stay Puft and Slimer.
Mhm.
Okay, Billy Bryan created Stay Puft, and he was in the suit.
Mhm.
And then his brother did Slimer, and they're awesome. And
Yeah,
they did
well,
all
Slimer
the
is
puppets and everything.
There were so many great lines in the first one too.
Oh yeah. Well, Bill Murray's classic.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
And
Well-
it wasn't just him. It was the whole cast.
Yeah.
The way they might now have their feuds, but the way they fit together for that movie was perfect
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
and played off each other.
I mean, you had Dan Aykroyd, you had Bill Murray, you had Harold Ramis.
Yep.
You had
I think Harold kind of kept them together with the
Eddie-
feuding.
you had Sigourney Weaver. Okay, You had Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney.
Huh?
Sigourney.
Sigourney?
Sigourney.
He said it with a New York accent.
I know. Wait.
Oh, well.
Oh, Sigourney.
Sigourney. Anyway, you had, like I said, Harold Ramis. Then you had Rick Moranis.
Oh man, Rick Moranis.
You
Rick
had
stopped
Annie
acting
Potts
after
that.
and Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. I was like Eddie.
Ernie Hudson. Yeah. So, like I said, it was a fun movie. I mean, talk about poking fun at New York City, having the Stay Puft Man walking down the middle of New York City.
The very first was it was such a good like I said, there's so many one-liners that came from the movie.
Yeah.
Like
Who are you gonna call?
I don't know, obviously. What was the okay? So they were looking at. Oh no, maybe that was the second one. What was the one with the painting? Was the painting the one with the second one?
The one with the butt?
The painting, the guy in the painting that.
The haunted painting?
Yeah.
I think it was on the second one.
Was that the second
Because that
one?
was with the baby.
Oh, okay. So maybe that had some good. That also has a good. But
Well, I'm sure they both did, but you know, let's face
but
it.
you remember
the
the first
one. You know, that's the
classic.
one. Those are those. That's the one that you're going to remember most of the
Yeah.
one-liners from.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it was a lot of fun. It was quirky. It was cute. You know, you had a. This was during the time when basically the Saturday Night Live crew, and that was Murray and
That was when
Aykroyd.
they all started
That was when
graduating
they
from-
were hot.
Oh, yeah.
They were scorching hot. You had Aykroyd. You had John Belushi. You know, even though he wasn't in Ghostbusters, but you had Aykroyd and Belushi and the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
There was that whole period of time in the 80s that these guys were untouchable. They were just, they were the cream of the
It was
crop.
really right after they left SNL. They moved. They graduated to the movie.
They're
Well,
still
that's just
super
it.
cool though.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, even oh God, what's his name? Who's the other one on SNL that didn't go with? I mean, like,
There's been a lot that
oh
come
God,
from SNL.
Chevy Chase. There you go.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase had a bunch of
But
movies
they
in the
did-
80s.
Oh my
Groundhog
God!
Day.
Caddyshack.
Yeah, Caddyshack.
Caddyshack with who can't tell me they didn't love the Gopher?
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
You know, and you have the theme song. Oh my! It's like get that ring into my head. Dang it!
And all
I'm gonna hear that all day
Chevy
long,
Chase's
ringing in my head.
vacation movies.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess we're all in consensus. It's the first one.
So I'm a big Ghostbuster fan because my most popular cosplay is the Stay Puft
Yeah,
Marshmallow
yeah.
Woman, which Chandler wanted me to wear, but I have to.
But
go
it's
to-
freaking 90 degrees out right now.
Just so you know, I would predict that right about now is when you're going to see a picture posted
There you go.
of her in her Stay Puft Girl
So-
outfit.
Because of Days of the Dead this weekend in Vegas, I'm missing out on the 35th anniversary party they're having for the Ghostbusters in LA this weekend. It's like a really big deal. The cast is going to be there. They're doing red carpet premieres. They're doing all kinds
And
of
you
stuff.
got invited.
I got invited to one of the red carpet premieres.
Well, why don't you take one day off?
Because it's the same day as something I'm doing at Days of the Dead. And I agreed to that first, and commitments are very important to me.
Well, I applaud you for sticking to your commitment. Okay,
Yeah.
I applaud you
I'm
for that.
big on that. Yeah. But it's going to be a big deal. All the ghost heads all over the world are going to be in LA this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
LA's gonna be a spooky place.
They're airing
More
like,
spooky
fan
than it already
movies.
is.
They're doing autograph signings with the cast, pictures with the cast, and that's unheard of because these guys don't do that.
Yeah.
You know that's part of topic number 3 that you're talking
I'm sorry. Is it?
about. You were the one who wrote it in there.
I know. I'm sorry.
Anyways, let's move on to topic number 2. This is going to be really easy, and I think if we count to 3 and say it all at the same time, we'll probably say the same thing. So topic number 2 is favorite Ghostbuster. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Bill Murray.
Yeah, I was going to say Bill Murray too.
Are you actually going to think about this?
Bill Murray's a legend. So
He
he's
was
got,
I know, but you know.
he's got this big thing now where he pops up at random bars and goes behind the bar and starts bartending without telling anybody. And so
And you
people
just
are just like,
and you just let him because
Because
it's
it's
Bill
Bill
Murray.
Murray.
I don't know. As far as the favorite Ghostbuster, I'm
I'm looking at the Ghostbusters and I'm thinking,
They were all funny in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. They each had something about them that was hilarious.
Bill was a big ladies' man, but Dan Aykroyd killed his role too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Dan play the educated one?
No, it was well, yeah, but it was Egon more than
Egon. Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the
brainy one. Dan kind of kept the group together, but I think in real life, Harold kept them together as the family.
Yeah.
For some reason, Rick Moranis is ringing in my head. I don't know why. I remember there's that one scene where he gets basically it's him and Sigourney.
Wow, you are totally murdering that name.
I know. I totally butchered the name. Sigourney Weaver.
There you go.
And Rick Moranis. And here it is. She kind of like consumes him as they turn into this statue.
Yeah.
And it's during the process of having some kind of sex or something. And just he comes out of that, and it's just absolutely hilarious.
His hair's all like,
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, he stopped acting for a while because I believe his wife had cancer, so he started raising their kids.
His last movies were the Honey I Shrunk the
So he
Kids.
stopped acting after that, and he was on top
Yeah.
because of his family, and that's like unheard of. He was one of the few people that actually did that.
Yeah. Well, you do what you got to do. I mean, he obviously put his family first, and you have to commend him for that. You have to give him credit for that. So good for you, Rick.
Cool. All right, topic number 3. Obviously, got into the whole Ghostbuster anniversary party thing, so we all know about that. Apparently, there's going to be a sequel. We all know about the sequel, right?
Yeah.
Please let it not be.
But it's
like the last one.
No,
nothing against the girls, but just I'm like, come on, I don't get it.
It wasn't a true sequel because it just wasn't a true sequel.
So the new movie is going to not have all the stupid, too much CGI in it, like the Stay Puft Man being a hot air balloon.
Practical effects.
Yeah, they're going to use puppets again.
So
it should be really, really good.
So in other words, it could be another Walking Stay Puft Man.
I'm just hoping they'll bring back the original. So when the movie got rebooted with the women, it was a really big deal where they did not pay tribute to all the original crew and the original
But
cast.
you had Ernie there.
Right. But they didn't pay tribute to them.
At
so
all.
the fans were pissed because those people, the reason that franchise is so successful. So in the new movie, they are going to have some of the original cast, and the fans are really hoping that we're also going to have some of the original crew that made that come to life. Because like my friend Bill, he created Stay Puft. They didn't say, hey, here's a drawing, go make this. He made the character.
No, I get it.
And the same with Slimer.
Well, wait, hold on.
Let me just say this. When you were talking about bringing back some of the original cast members, to me, what would be an appropriate movie, especially being 25 years later, would be exactly that. You acknowledge 25 years has gone by. Hey, kid, here's the mantle. This is Dan Aykroyd's son growing up to take over,
but for whatever
busting
reason,
the ghosts
the
for
studio
his
has
dad.
not been doing
Huh?
that.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's look back at that sequel because really, I mean, obviously they didn't pay tribute to him, right? But they were all in the movie.
No, I'm talking about the people that made the movie too.
What do you mean?
The people that made the puppets, the people that
Oh,
made
those guys. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Like it was.
But I mean, Bill Murray was in the movie.
Well, yeah, but
There was. I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a bust of Harold Ramis in the hallway.
when it comes to the fans, they're not so concerned about the celebrities as they are everyone that made the movie, and the reason the movie is so successful the way it is. Ghost fans are some of the most hardcore fans you've ever been around.
I mean, okay, so I can understand being mad, not being paid, like paying tribute to the originals.
Yeah.
But the behind the scenes guys, really? Like, would they really get that mad over behind the scenes?
Like the art people stuff? Yeah.
How would you pay tribute to them, though?
The ones that created the puppets and
yeah, but how would you pay tribute to them?
For example, some of them were not invited to the new premiere, the women's movie premiere.
They weren't acknowledged.
So okay, so acknowledge, you mean like behind the scenes, not like in the movie itself?
Well, yeah.
Okay. That's what I was trying to.
Or even
understand
bringing
what
back people to, like, if we're doing puppets again, for example, if we're doing a horror movie or like a Stan Winston project, wouldn't you bring back for a big budget movie like that, wouldn't you bring back the people that were like key in making that?
Yeah.
Well, here's yes and no, only in the sense that technology has changed.
Well, yeah, and I realize that, but not really, because they're still using a lot of the same stuff.
Okay.
It's just a lot, and the fans really want. They're some of the most hardcore fans I have ever met. The Ghost Heads, they're great, and a lot of people don't understand why people go out dressed like Ghostbusters. The reason is because they do a lot of charity events, and they do a lot of children's hospital events, but they want things to stay the same.
So okay, so like, for me to understand, because I get what you're saying now, but I don't want to understand what you're saying.
Sure.
How would you do it? How would you pay tribute to these guys if
So if it was up to me, and let's say I'm doing another movie that would be a continuation of the original two, then I would bring back some of the same people that created the puppets and have younger people on a team doing it together. I would have, obviously, the original cast, but a lot of them are older now, so they're going to have to do something like Chandler said, where they're going to be parents now, or it's going to be like where their life went from here and have a new cast as well.
That's the easy part.
Yeah.
But like I was trying to understand like the whole all the behind the scenes guys.
Yeah.
Like so if I was a studio and
the studios usually hire people that they know that have worked on other stuff or that they're friends with. They're like, hey, I know somebody that can fill that. You know, or it's people that have worked their way up in that department with like AD jobs, PA jobs, and they're like, hey, let's do this project or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't reach out to the people, like Godzilla, for example. Godzilla stayed consistent up until the one where they changed his toes because they had the same people working on it to make sure it was consistent.
Gotcha. I see what you mean now. Okay. Cool.
But no, it's a big deal. The fans for Ghostbusters are hardcore.
Are they gonna sign a petition?
Probably. They're hardcore. No, but I'm excited. The event this weekend is for UNICEF, so it's like a really big. They're doing it at the. It's not the Chinese theater anymore. It's something else.
It's not Man's Chinese Theater anymore?
I think somebody else probably.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think it's down there.
So, anyways, yeah, no, I can see that. Like other properties that I could see having fans that same way would be Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I actually had something that came across my desk just the other day, and to me, it was really cool. I should have taken a picture of it before I sent it off. It was a customer who had about 5 or 6 comic books. At the MegaCon convention, which was in Orlando, Florida, a couple of weeks ago, you had what's his name? Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox, who was there. You had Leah Thompson, who was there. You had Christopher Lloyd, who was there. You had what's his name, who played the mean guy.
Oh, Biff.
Biff. They basically had the main cast coming back, and so here it is. I had a half a dozen books. Most of them were signed by Michael J. Douglas, but there was one in particular that had, and it was a picture of Michael's character, Leah's character, and Christopher's character, and it was signed by all 3. And I sat there and I kind of chuckled and I thought to myself, wow, this is a fan. This is not a retailer looking to sell these things. This is just a fan of the series.
Yeah.
And it gave me pleasure to know that we were able to make that fan happy, because here it is, we were able to get this stuff signed by these actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it was when you mentioned Back to the Future, it just made me think about what I had on my desk the other day, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to think about stuff.
One
like
of those,
that.
yeah, that's one of those franchises that has like a huge rabid fan base, like just like the Ghost Heads.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's the top 3 topics of the day, guys. When we get back, we're gonna wrap this show up. Stick around. We're back, folks. That's it for our show. Anything going on this weekend, guys? Anything?
Oh man. Fortunately, no. We have this weekend to get ready for what's coming up.
Yeah.
So for us, we will be not this weekend, but the following weekend. We're going to be in Washington for the Washington State Summer Con, which is going to be Roy Thomas, Chris Claremont. But Roy Thomas, Chris Claremont. There's a bunch of other guests that are going to be there. They're going to have a bunch of celebrities there as well. This show's going. It's transitioning from being a toy show to a geek show. So it's bringing in the comic characters.
Gotcha.
I'm bringing in the comic creators. It's bringing in.
Cool.
Jim Steranko's going to be there.
Nice.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Same weekend, you also have Amazing Comic Con happening here in Las Vegas, where you're going to have the Infinity Gauntlet group that's going to be there. That's going to be George Perez, Jim Starlin, Ron Lim, and Joe Rubenstein. And
the LFDF
hopefully
crew.
we'll have an announcement about that coming up. And then also there's a show going on in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Heroes Con. But
Cool.
that's 2 weeks from now. 2 weekends from now. So
Well, and you're going to be at.
I'm going to be at Amazing.
You're gonna be at Amazing.
The LFDF Comics crew
But
is
that's
going to be at
for
Amazing.
2 or 3 weeks from now.
That's next week.
Is it?
it's not this weekend,
Not this
it's
weekend.
the following weekend.
So
So-
we'll be there.
And then the weekend after that, I head back to New York.
New York,
And then the weekend after that, I head to Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Yeehaw!
What about you? What you got going on this weekend?
So Days of the Dead Las Vegas is this weekend. It's
Yes.
a horror con.
Mm-hmm.
And that's down at the plaza. And so I am judging the costume contest.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I have a table, so I get to meet people and
Cool.
Make sure you bring Walking Dead stuff for her to sign.
yeah, I'm
You're
gonna
look-
have
you-
some
she's a
loot
cast
there,
member, so she
but
can
not a
sign it.
lot. I'm gonna have some loot there. But not a
Cool.
lot. I need to order a bunch of copies of the first appearance of the Whisperers.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Anyway, so I'm doing that, and then I'm tikiing. I'm working at the tiki bar as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
I still need to come visit you.
I don't know why,
I
but
know.
you say working at the tiki bar, and
wanna
the
do that?
Disney tiki room starts ringing in my head.
yeah.
So I need to post when I
Tiki
work.
room.
Sometimes I do, but I get called in a lot. I pick up shifts from other girls, so it's hard. Like I work a lot. That's how I make the acting stuff real.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
And
doing
then
this
ultimately, about 7 weeks from now, San Diego Comic-Con,
Oh man,
where you'll see us all down there.
we'll all be down there.
We'll
so.
all be down there, and it's cited. As a matter of fact, if you check out the Desert Wind Facebook page or the Celestial Facebook page, you'll see the announcement where we announced the Superman Year One, which is Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.'s big, huge project. And it is the John Romita Jr. Convention exclusive that you can pre-order right now. So if you go to, like I said, the Desert Wind or the Celestial Facebook page, and you should see it popping, you'll be seeing the image popping up right now. And you'll be able to pre-order it and pick it up at San Diego at the Desert Wind booth, or pick it up at Celestial.
Cool. And I'm just gonna be preparing for all the cons that I've got coming up.
You be drawing a
I'll
lot.
be drawing a lot.
Drawing?
I was at my table last night till 4:30 in the
I
morning.
want to see some time lapses.
Oh, see, I check out my new channel when you guys get a chance.
We still have to share it.
I know I gotta share it. I'll tell you guys about it later when it's built up. But yeah, that's it for our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'm your man JQ. This is Megan,
Hi.
and this is Chandler.
Yo.
Say bye free, bye free. Anyways, that's it for our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
again, JQ with Geeked Out right here on Dubtown Radio. If you want to get more content from us, better make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't know what you're missing.